But I also know players on that team that are like, oh, hell no, we don't want to just be here.
Did you hear what Sheryl Swoopes said about the Indiana Fever? She said that no one wants to play for them, but the truth is that there's a lot more going on than Swoopes may realize. It seems like the Fever are the hottest ticket in town right now, with Kelsey Mitchell's back and other players lining up to join. What's really going on here, and why is Swoopes so off base? Let's examine why the Fever are truly on fire and why everyone is talking about them. Throughout the season, Sheryl Swoopes has been outspoken in her criticism of Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, raising numerous concerns about the team's defense.
Defensively, besides Aaliyah Boston, besides Lexi Hull, because I think Kelsey Mitchell's an okay defender. Lexi Hull, is a dog on the defensive end.
Yeah.
But besides those two, I worry about the defense. Because to your point, come playoffs, you got to be able to guard somebody.
Swoopes thinks the squad plays only offense and no defense, although the statistics don't support it. Fever has been putting in a lot of effort on both ends of the court, and it's beginning to show. With Caitlin Clark taking center stage, things are going to get much better for the squad.
What I don't see is who is that other guard, right? Because the guard they bring in is Erica Wheeler.
Yep.
Who's the other guard that you can bring in that can defend somebody?
I think that they're the women's version of the Dallas Mavericks. And I see Caitlin being Luka.
I like that.
Kelsey Mitchell being Kyrie.
I like that. Yeah.
They got pieces that are very dangerous, but they haven't decided to play defense individually.
When we looked into it, we discovered something completely unexpected. The truth about the Fever's locker room culture is completely different from what Swoopes is saying. In fact, it's quite the opposite. But that's not all she says. There's a lot of drama going on with the Fever, painting a picture of a team in chaos. The Fever may be the WNBA's hottest team right now. You may be wondering how that's possible since Kelsey Mitchell recently left the team and other players are vying to join. It seems like Swoopes is focusing so much on the Fever that she may be feeling a little threatened by something. The Fever has been creating something unique, with a supportive environment, a growing fan base, and some serious potential for the future. Players aren't fleeing from the Fever. Rather, they are running towards them.
And it's so funny to me that it's just so rough. There's a lot of shit going on and is it only with the Fever that you just so happen to know that people don't want to be in Indiana? What about the other places? Is it just the Indiana Fever? Because Caitlin Clark is there. So what possibly could be going on in a situation where you have all the fans, you're getting paid, you're nationally televised, social media is growing, you got the best fan base, your merchandise is going up, your jersey sales are going up, everything.
Let's begin with the revelation that has everyone talking. The rest of the league is beginning to take note that Kelsey Mitchell is back. Baby Mitchell. Her comeback is like a huge neon sign saying, "Hey superstars, Indiana is a place to be."
But if you don't want to be here, hey, we're not forcing you to be here. We want people who want to be here. Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner. You know what I'm saying? Cunningham, Colson. We want players who want to be here. Kelsey Mitchell, re-signed, because you said significant pieces. It couldn't have been Alyssa Smith. It could not have been Alyssa Smith. I know that's not who we're calling significant piece.
Yes, that's correct. Three-time WNBA champion Natasha Howard is getting ready for the season, and Sydney Cousin is joining the team. These aren't just arbitrary additions. We're talking about major talent moving to Indiana. You may be asking why this is happening. Hurry to catch the Fever, for I have 2 words for you. Caitlin Clark's influence extends beyond the court. She is transforming the WNBA as a whole. Other athletes are thinking, hey, I want a piece of that action as a result of Clark's jersey sales, but this is where things get very interesting. Not only are they drawing players, but they are also becoming a fan favorite. We're talking about explosive retail sales, crowded arenas, and a buzz around the club that hasn't existed in years.
Make this very clear, right? Let's listen to this.
Look at that. Yeah, oh no.
And Gil's point is right. And I've been saying it. A lot of people say it. When you're going to be in Indy, you're going to be making more money. You're going to be having more endorsements. Your contract will be higher. You're going to get treated right. You have the facilities on the way. You're going to get the most exposure in the WNBA period, hands down, point blank. You're going to be national televised games. You're going to have national televised games.
And you know what's even more insane? This is only the beginning. The Fever's roster is starting to look like a formidable opponent, and other teams are beginning to worry about how they're going to stack up against this Indiana powerhouse. Let's break it down. Mitchell's ability to score goals, Howard's championship experience, Carlson's versatility, and the Clark effect are attracting even more talent, and you have a recipe for something special brewing in Indiana. Okay, you thought Swoopes was done, but hold on to your seats because her take on Aaliyah Boston is about to astound you.
But tons, right? They played a lot of games the first half of the season.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference that rest made for this team, for individual players and for the team. But the beginning of the year, you have a player like an Aaliyah Boston, who was Rookie of the Year last year, #1 draft pick, a hell of a player. But because things weren't going the way everybody thought they should, then you got social media coming out calling her everything but a child of God. Made the kid delete her social media. And now that they're winning and she's playing better, oh my God, we love you, Aaliyah.
Swoopes alleges that when Boston was having trouble at the beginning of her rookie season, the supporters turned against her more quickly than a swift crossover. However, this is where things get very fascinating. She believes that as soon as Boston started to perform well, the same fans were all, "We love you." Do you think Swoopes is attempting to portray Fever followers as proponents of fair weather, Aaliyah?
But my thing is this. So what happens when Aaliyah ain't playing well again?
Let's take a moment to dissect this. Swoopes is essentially implying that fans of Fever are a bunch of jerks who can't deal with a rookie getting her bearings. Come on. Every player experiences ups and downs, especially during their first season. It's a part of the game, and while fans may become irritated at times, it doesn't mean they don't support their players.
Yeah.
And let me go ahead and say this. She's a professional athlete. LeBron goes through it. Stephen Curry goes through it. Everybody you can think of goes through it. Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Ronaldo, Messi. Every player you can think of goes through it. From college, high school, all the way to the pros. And if anything, you're making it seem like it's probably not even as bad as some of this NBA stuff. And real.
But this is where Swoopes comes in. His argument blows up faster than a bad zone defense. And she's totally ignoring the fact that Boston isn't just any rookie. She's a key player for the Fever's future. The fans know they care about her success. So naturally, they were excited when she started to find her groove. It's not about being fair weather fans. It's about celebrating a young star entering her own right.
No one's paying attention to them. So all those players on there is fighting for a light, right? Fever has this big, bright light, which means someone like Boston, you wasn't playing well, everyone don't like you, right? When you are playing well, Jesus, open up the red carpet, boom. So she's getting the red carpet treatment when she's playing well, and when she's not,
From
get
who?
the fuck
Who's
out
she
of
getting a red carpet treatment from?
Just social media,
fans.
people, right?
You may be thinking, okay, but criticism is a part of the job of being a professional athlete, which is precisely why Swoopes' perspective is so inaccurate. Like every other player in the game, Boston is aware that handling pressure is a necessary part of the job. How you handle criticism matters more than avoiding it.
Was to her jersey, when they loved her jersey's moving like hotcakes. She's getting voted into the All-Star game. So it is a hate and love thing. So as the player, you have to understand that. Either you're gonna have this really high level hate and love, or you can be playing very great and no one notices you. But you can be playing very bad and no one notices you.
Let's examine the information provided. When things got hard, Boston didn't just give up. Instead, she worked hard, changed her strategy, and began to dominate on both sides of the court. That's the kind of mental toughness that separates the great from the good and Fever. Swoopes is acting as though Boston can't take a little heat from the fans. Are you serious? This is a player who led South Carolina to a national championship. She's handled pressure on the biggest stages in college basketball. You think a few angry tweets will shake her, please? Fans acknowledge that growth and support her at every turn.
and you're over here making a big deal, making it seem like there's a lot of stuff going on. So, are you saying Aaliyah Boston doesn't want to be there? I mean, like, start saying names with your statements, because you're just putting stuff in the air.
The truth is that Boston's path is precisely what makes sports so thrilling. We enjoy watching young athletes overcome obstacles and realize their full potential. It's not about people changing their minds. Rather, it's about the excitement of witnessing a star emerge before our very eyes.
So if you're not in the locker room, how are you expressing things like this? Goofy. If you're not in the locker room, Sheryl Swoopes, how are you expressing these things?
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
Oh, social media. So you're just going based off social media. So where did it say, I don't want to be here in Indiana? And you're going based on social media. So you're making things up. You're making things up is what you're saying. Like right now, you're pretty much saying there's a lot of shit going on in Indiana. I don't want to be there. Significant pieces. And you're going based off social media. So you're making shit up.
Okay, let's discuss the true reason Sheryl Swoopes is pursuing the Fever. It all comes down to one person, Caitlin Clark, and I can assure you that Clark is causing unprecedented disruptions in the league.
The stuff toward her is petty and jealous. And the thing I love about her, she never says a word.
You believe that I'm exaggerating? Look at this. Not only are Clark's jersey sales smashing records, but he is also altering the game on the court and getting players like Swoopes to pay attention.
There was a report that came out from the boardroom saying that since the start of the regular season, sales of WNBA merchandise are up over 500% versus the same period last year, with fan gear sales over the first half of the season at the highest in league history. Player-specific merchandise, including jerseys and t-shirts, have seen a staggering 1,000% increase in sales. Additionally, sales of league-specific merchandise like the popular orange WNBA hoodie are also up 200%. The top-selling WNBA player merch, Caitlin Clark, #1 in jersey sales, Angel Reese 2, Sabrina 3, Kate Martin 4.
This is when things start to get interesting. Clark is more than a novice, making an impact. Her play style and ball handling and playmaking skills are a spark that is kindling a fire of talent and enthusiasm across the WNBA. It's making analogies to some of the NBA's top players, which is accurate. Here, we're discussing the possibility of game-changing. Other WNBA players are observing Clark's transformation of the entire Fever franchise. The club Swoopes stated that no one wanted to play for them, but now it's a popular destination. Top talent is reportedly lining up to play with Clark, which is completely unbelievable. But here's the real deal. Clark's impact goes beyond her individual play. She is changing how the Indiana Fever are perceived overall. Her influence is comparable to that of some of the greatest players in history who changed the dynamics of their teams and the league as a whole. That is the type of player we're dealing with here.
The Fever did not come to play. They are on a mission to win now, like 2025 championship season incoming. They were so quiet during free agency. And in the past 24 hours, boom, boom, boom. Re-signed Kelsey Mitchell to a max deal. Picked up Natasha Howard, bringing her back to the Indiana Fever, where she was originally drafted. And then they just announced a three-way trade, sending Alyssa Smith to Dallas and Sophie Cunningham coming to the Fever. This team in 24 hours just got exponentially better. Starting five, Caitlin at the 1, Kelsey at the 2, Lexi Hall and Sophie can duke it out for the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, Aaliyah Boston at the 5.
This is when things start to get interesting. Clark is more than a novice, making an impact. Her play style and ball handling and playmaking skills are a spark that is kindling a fire of talent and enthusiasm across the WNBA. It's making analogies to some of the NBA's top players, which is accurate. Here, we're discussing the possibility of game-changing. Other WNBA players are observing Clark's transformation of the entire Fever franchise. The club Swoopes stated that no one wanted to play for them, but now it's a popular destination. Top talent is reportedly lining up to play with Clark, which is completely unbelievable. But here's the real deal. Clark's impact goes beyond her individual play. She is changing how the Indiana Fever are perceived overall. Her influence is comparable to that of some of the greatest players in history who changed the dynamics of their teams and the league as a whole. That is the type of player we're dealing with here.
But I'm just letting it be known, like, hey, her jersey sales are up because of Caitlin Clark. I'm sure Lexi Hall's jersey sales are up this year. I'm sure Natasha Howard's jersey sales will be up this year. I'm sure DeWanna Bonner, Indiana Fever's jersey sales will be up this year. Cunningham will be skyrocketing.
Let's wrap this up because, unlike what Swoopes wants you to think, the Fever's ascent is more thrilling than ever. With their new lineup, they are challenging the league's hierarchy rather than merely vying for a playoff place. You won't want to miss what happens next as we follow every move of this explosive Fever squad ready to blow the league apart. Indiana is aiming for the playoffs like it's their destiny. Can you believe it? The former punching bag is now ready to make some serious noise, making the playoffs more than a win. It would be a transformation.
You're just lying. So not only were you lying, it all backfired in your face for lying. And now you just look dumb. Just to be honest, like respectfully, like it's, you opened your mouth, you've lied on Caitlin Clark multiple times. Then you come out with a statement like this, which was a lie, which you admitted to saying, well, I'm just going based on social media. You're lying. So that's really all I got, man. And I'm just happy that Kelsey Mitchell did resign.